Hello, fellow colleagues. I wanted to welcome you to Reflections on Implementation of Flipping Using a Long-Term Sub. I know Mrs. Watts promised you guys some pictures of the baby, but those are going to be at the end. You know why? Because I'm smart, and I want to save things for the end so that you stay the entire time and engaged. So, I just wanted to tell you guys a little bit about the flipping process that I had, and pluses, minuses, different things that I learned along the way. So I'm going to kind of start out here. Tracy Chapler and I kind of decided that we wanted to do a little bit of our life science unit in a flipping format. The main goal that we had at the beginning was we wanted to have some interactive things for the kids to do at home so they could practice interactively with some of the different skill sets that they have to do, like making Punnett squares and that kind of thing. We didn't get hooked up with some of the people that we wanted to quite in time. We just couldn't get schedules to match up and everything, so we ended up making up our own videos, our own little lecturettes. Now that process, I used iMovie on my computer, and I know that some of the other computers at the school have it as well. If you ever want to talk about how do you do that, just come find me and I'll help you out. It's pretty easy. An idiot like me could do it. Probably all of you guys could do it too. So. Some of the positives that I had for the flipping process. One thing that I noticed is every single kid was getting the exact same lecture, which is nice because I tend to have the pattern of behavior where I say one thing in one period and then maybe I expand on that a little bit more another period, but other periods don't get that same expansion. So I have to really think a lot of times, especially when I'm assessing, like, did I really cover that well in that class, or did I focus more on this area? So I noticed that I was able to help with my assessments a little bit more because I know exactly what every kid had, and I can go back and look at it. It's got some accountability for me, I guess. It also gave the burden, the responsibility back to the students. That's actually something I've been trying to do for the last couple of years with my website. If somebody comes to me and says, "Hey, I don't have that," or if a parent comes to me and says, "Hey, what, could be something extra for little Jimmy or little Susie to do," I just show them my website. Now all of these lectures are on here too. I can just tell the kids, go watch the lecture again because you're asking me questions that are answered in that. It's also good for the kids who need lots of extra review because they can just watch it over and over. It's the same concept of when people were in college and they would record the lectures with the little tape recorder, go back and replay them, listen to them, all that stuff. The other thing is, when I make these lectures, I can take as many times as I want, make it as good as I want. I will say I didn't take a bazillion takes like I might in the future. And it's all in the comfort of my own home. I'm just wearing sweatpants right now. You guys think that I'm nice and fancy. I got a shirt. I got a soccer shirt on underneath this. The kids don't know that. So it's nice because I can just take my time with that. It's pretty easy. Some of the drawbacks that I wanted to talk about, though, one of the first things was I needed to get buy-in from the kids. This is something I prefaced before my my sub came in. I just want to back up for 1 second. It was really good with the lectures because I was still in touch with my kids through the lecturettes. But getting them to buy in while I wasn't there was a little more difficult. Like I said, I tried it before leaving. It was okay. It does take a little bit of time just to prepare the lectures. And I also figured out pretty fast that the lectures that you do cannot be very long. You will lose the kids' attention. You have to figure out a little bit of a way to kind of make it memorable for them, which I'm going to talk about in a second. And then the last thing, accountability. I had to have accountability for the kids. What I usually would do for my lectures, I would start out, put, here's our goal for today, and then we're going to do this at the end. So at the end, they would either have a problem or they would have to come in with a question about the topic that we were talking about. Just something to keep them accountable. And some of the kids learn pretty fast. Some of them just didn't. And you've always got some of those kids who they just don't seem to care a lick. And we've got to figure out how to work with those kids too. But talking about the lectures, ways to make them memorable that I found, I pulled all my kids different things that they remember from the lectures. Personalized stuff. I actually shared a little bit of my life with them. Since I was in the hospital for one of my lectures, I showed them a picture of the baby. A million kids told me in the little surveys that I did, "Oh, Mr. Ross, you remember how cute your baby was when we were talking about Punnett squares?" Now that might not seem really educational, but that's one of those memory triggers that a kid might have when they're trying to think Punnett squares, Punnett squares. Oh yeah, Mr. Ross has an ugly gene. His wife has a cute gene. They give him to their baby. Hopefully that cute gene was dominant. Okay, so like the kids remember that stuff, as stupid as it sounds to somebody who doesn't know what I'm talking about. But we also had some different quotes that I made up. I worked really hard to make things memorable and quotable for the kids so that I could take it back to class, something transportable. The how-to videos were very helpful for a lot of the kids. I know that was probably, those were the videos that most kids rewatched over and over again. A little bit of humor I tried to interject in there because that's just my teaching style. If you're not comfortable with that, don't do it. And then, what was this last thing? Sorry. Usually I would do multiple takes if I have a starter like that, just so you know, but I didn't this time. So hopefully this is helpful for you guys. If you have any questions, this is something that I'm going to continue to do in the future and continue to improve upon. Hopefully that helped you. So yeah.